What's up YouTube, God4Man221 here, and welcome back to another Season 3, my Company of Heroes 2 series. We are getting closer and closer to the British coming up in September here, so I'm very excited for that new faction. Anyway, in the meantime, I am getting you guys some Wehrmacht gameplay. I've noticed since the July 20th update, it's been kind of hard to win as the Wehrmacht. And the Axis forces seem like the Allies have a lot of tools, especially the American riflemen early on. And we'll see a later match on Min's Pocket where I show that. That's going to be in a different video though. Anyway, so I'm playing as Wehrmacht with my ally Lipton. You may recognize him from the last 4v4 on Hill 331. And it is Ettelbruck Station. So one of the cool things about the OKW is the razor wire, or the reinforced steel barricade. But now this can actually apparently be cut. That's what Lipton was telling me. But they used to be uncuttable, which made sense. So here's what we're doing. The plan is that I'm going to control the southern part of the map in the middle around the victory point. And Lipton's going to fight in the close quarter area around here against the Soviets. So basically, to control around this area, I'm not grabbing it just yet, but to control it, I'm going to need to control this train station overlooking the victory point. The problem is, though, that they have two buildings they can use also, and this building is apparently much better. For some reason, the MG later on in this match is going to just kill my MG in this building, even though we have an MG42. So you can see, I could have captured that point, but I gotta rush. I need to get my MGs into some of these houses here. And through the fog of war, I did see that they had taken this area here, but I was surprised they did not garrison the house. I was expecting an MG or something, or even some riflemen or something to hold this house, not just give it up to me. So you can see our men are going to hop in. And what I've liked is they've actually changed this for building, so you can now direct fire. You basically face your weapon team at a certain angle, right? Because if you're in a house, right, and you know the enemy's not going to come from this area here. You know they're going to be coming from here or this area. You're going to want to face your MG at one of those two areas. Probably the most likely area they're going to attack from, right? Anyway, he's going to hop into this building for the cover. I'm meanwhile going to start grabbing some munitions here and trying to seal this off. The Americans really need munitions, especially for any kind of their artillery. Their riflemen for bars need munitions and some of their unique abilities. Anyway, I have my grenadiers. You can see at this distance that these guys with their grease guns are not going to be able to hit squat pretty much. And my men in light cover, my grenadiers, should be quite fine. These guys are very good at close quarter combat, but not against my men from range. And also you got to realize that the American riflemen, these guys have M1 Grands, right? They're going to be very good close up. I'm just trying to retreat until my grenadiers get here. Who are coming. The grenadiers have Car 98s. That's their standard equipment, right? So the Car 98 is a bolt action rifle. That's going to be much better at long range. So I'm just going to immediately switch my MG over. Actually, there's troops right here. I'm setting another grenadier squad. I don't want to give them the victory point. So what I was saying earlier, you see it says down here, their infantry experience, effective at infantry at long range. These guys, you know, you don't want them point blank with American troops here. You know, these guys are good troops, but you got to be careful. So I have all my men in light cover here. I'm not finished upgrading to battle phase 1, so I can't use any rifle grenades. Now I'm going to put my men in heavy cover, get out of the light cover, and just get to the side of these guys here. And I am going to be focusing on the riflemen here, not the rear echelon troops, and I also have my machine gun now from the top of this train station pushing these guys back. Now we did manage to suppress me using the volley fire. Volley fire doesn't instantly suppress like they used to initially early on. They basically suppress the end of the use of that ability. So I'm doing pretty well. I'm holding the center here and the southern area here. And like I said, these guys are great at long range. They're going to start picking off the rear echelon troops. Anyway, this is a little more up in the air with the Soviets. You know, we have Volksgrens here and machine guns, and yeah, there's a lot of machine guns. It's gonna be harder for them to take these guys out early on. And I looked inside a little bit of trouble. And meanwhile, look at this. The Soviets put a machine gun in here, and my machine gun is not doing too well against these guys. So you can see I've chosen a very interesting doctrine here. I usually use this a lot, actually, the Spearhead Doctrine. This allows me to get a mortar half-track, which is great on an urban map. It gives me Panzer Tactician, and I can always use Fragmentation Bomb or Recon. And you can see I'm going to try to run away. I don't want my guys to get killed here, and I'm sending my grenadiers. I'm going to hop them over the little fence here. If I hit these guys with a flame, you know, if I hit the flamethrower with the rifle grenade, they'll be in a little bit of trouble. Anyway, I've started building a bunker. This is going to be very hard for the Americans early on to deal with. Bunkers are very good in the early game. Unless they have ATs or a captain, they can't destroy it. And at this position I'm placing it, it's going to cover my victory point and allow me to shift more forces more towards the center, which I'm starting to lose here. And you can see the Kupelwagen had to retreat all the way over here, and he's going to ask me for repair, which I will gladly help out my teammate with. And I'm going to hop the Grenadiers into this building. I just do not want them manning this building. The last thing I need is for a Soviet MG a Maxim here, because then I have to, you know, this is a very tough building to destroy. You know what's also good on this map? Stuka Sufus can level some of these buildings pretty easily. So, we actually don't have a Stuka. Yeah, he built the battle group headquarters, so we can't get Stukas. And then, everybody's favorite thing they love fighting against, we have the Soviet 120mm mortar. These things are a pain, and when they had precision strike, they were extremely overpowered early on. Anyway, they're going to start bombarding me here. And I'm starting to lose some grenadiers here, so I'm just going to pop out. You know, they haven't shown any initiative on trying to take this building, so just let them bombard for no reason. Anyway, they're trying to take this position back again. They're actually having to flank around. They can't take this from the front. They're going to have to flank around this side. But there's an MG covering him over here, so he's definitely in a little bit of trouble. And these can be destroyed by satchels and other things like that. So I could grab... I'm looking at the situation here. There's a decent amount of infantry, but I've been doing pretty well at dealing with that, I like to think. You know, I'm holding my territory, holding my own. I could grab the victory point, but I have to get rid of the MG that used to be in here. However, if I get this, this will significantly delay me against getting a Panzer IV. So tactically, this would set me back on armor, and this isn't going to be easily destroyed by any kind of armor. I'm setting up another bunker. Right, it's like the Gustav line, and I guess the Gustav line was in Italy. I know the Siegfried line was definitely in Italy. So I have my own mortar, which is going to, you know, I'll say, you know what, I got a mortar, you got a mortar. I'm just bombarding this area here. So here's the plan for me. I put my MG in this house, which is able to cover this pretty successfully. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade to... I'm upgraded right now, so I can actually reinforce and build this Panzer support corps when I need. So I can get the support corps, support armor corps. These names change a little bit. Support armor corps. I'll grab that, get the Panzer IV out, and then I'll get a mortar to help support me. Because I need to have some kind of armor and hit these guys early on. Anyway, we have my Grenadiers pushing back up. Lipton's pushed back a little bit here. You can see he can... Is he laying more barbed wire here? I wonder if he misclicked or something. That doesn't make sense. Oh, he's barbed wired everything. He doesn't want him to flank around. And the MG is taking too many casualties here, so you can see the Volkskrans are going to throw a grenade in. Or they actually did. Anyway. This is now my veteran MG team. We have the friendly neighborhood Maxim back. My mortar is targeting their mortar. I'm very careful. I'm afraid of the engineers hopping up, you know, charging in with the flamethrowers, but we see that they're actually over here. Nice. Lipton just threw a grenade over their mines that they've laid and actually killed a troop and actually killed a combat engineer and allowed his troops to actually push into this victory point here. And you see, he tried to flank around by throwing smoke and everything, going after my mortar and maybe my MG. So I have my two MGs, so they can't basically touch this victory point. This victory point is completely secure. We're just neutral on this victory point in the middle here. And they've taken this one. Lipton's trying his best, but you can see the game glitched out a little bit. We have some of these frozen OKW troops. And by the way, when your men are laying down mines, they are extremely vulnerable. They take an HP hit whenever they're laying mines down when they get shot at. Same thing for OKW units scavenging. They just get completely wrecked. So I actually don't... I mean, I have enough manpower here, but I really don't have enough infantry. I could definitely use another MG or a sniper or something. Probably not a sniper at this point. Anyway, in a little bit here, I'm going to get the idea to build 2 bunkers because I have the munitions and just have this as kind of like my forward base. Basically, get the medical and reinforcement bunker, and then these guys are Vet 1. I'm actually guarding from a possible flank. I'm not afraid if they, charge in here with troops, but I'm kind of afraid about them coming through the gate here. Now, I am very vulnerable right now to a Stuart or even a T-34, which they do have they're actually making Su-76. Now, what I've noticed with the Su-76 is it seems to be very, in numbers, can be very overpowered. It seems like the 76mm gun can actually penetrate frontal armor of the Panzer IV. And it has the barrage to kill infantry. So it seems kind of... I think the Su-76, because no one used it. I used it very early on, but I really stopped using it. I used to use the Su-85. Anyway, I'm popping down smoke. You can see the enemy has put up a bunch of... has several positions here, so we got some sandbags and a machine gun. I knew he had troops there. I only got one, unfortunately. They're throwing rifle grenades at us, though. So I'm just trying to neutralize this, but they have MGs and stuff in my way. And I was saying about the Su-76, I think you need to either increase the cost or decrease the armor penetration, because it shouldn't be able just to hands down beat a Panzer IV. That's what I experienced earlier. It was just able to beat my Panzer IV. And there goes a Kupelwagen. And you can see, yeah, they're really fortifying here, and they have light cars and... Not in this match, so the Su-76s were not as overpowered, or they weren't used as well. And we have a huge American force here, along with along with the Soviet support weapons. You can see that's a Maxim. 2 broken wheels off of it. It's much more mobile than the MG42. So anyway, I have my MG42 here. I'm not going to put it in the building because they'll just get killed by those guys in that building. And don't get me wrong, we know there are windows in the buildings, and maybe these windows don't have as good a view of those windows, but... And I know there's enemy troops right there, so of course I'm just going to bombard it. And I have my men I had them stacked there briefly. So if they try to outflank this machine gun or they get too close to it, this one will open up on them. And I actually lost one of my grenadier squads, which is really unfortunate. And these guys are back here at base. So I'm getting close to grabbing the Panzer IV. I'm going to probably need to help out Lipton here in a little bit, because he's really struggling. The OKW are having trouble on this map because it's so close quarter, and he doesn't have Fallschirmjägers or anything to really counter it. He has a lot of these lighter troops, and they're dealing with a lot of defenses too. A grenade would be excellent here if you got one off. But wow, can you imagine? That would be horrible. Well, that'd be horrifying if you were stuck between 2 flamethrowers. And they're just going to keep laying mines. But Lipton does, the OKW does have the infantry support gun. Start pushing up on this side a little bit, maybe bombard this area. I don't know why I called a barrage right in front of him there. Anyway, I have a flamethrower with my guys here. I'm thinking about maybe possibly flanking. And we have another SU, and look at all... They're just like, if I had a Stuka, can you imagine a Stuka just hitting these guys in like the Green Barrage way, and just... That could do a lot of damage. Anyway, I see that, and I'm really happy at this point to not grab that mortar half-track early on. I'm also saving my munitions for right now. Mortar's just going to still keep bombarding this. We managed to wipe out some crews here. 11 kills on him so far. And the Panzer IV is ready for battle. I forget the name of the skin. I know it says Grau, which is gray in German. I think it's Panzer Grau. Someone let me know. Anyway, they're bombarding me. This is actually a good... Honestly, I would just move up. This is an Su-76. I could probably kill these bunkers. Bunker's not going to do anything against this guy here. And I really don't have anything just yet, so I'm a little nervous he's going to pull up, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to start killing us. I'm going to try to run up here and get a Panzerfaust off so my Panzer IV can move in and take out the Su-76. So I do get that off. It is a damaged engine. Even if he destroys us, which he does, he's going to lose a very valuable piece of his armor component here. So he's done there. I did lose my bunker. And I seem to have like an advantage at this point because I destroyed some armor. But look at this. 3 American ATs. I'm like, oh my gosh, hide behind. Thankfully that shell bounced off our armor here, and I have the train to kind of cover me, but that is a lot of anti-tank guns. So now I'm like, okay, I got my Panzer IV out. I can take on the Soviet armor. I know the American's probably going for something heavier. He has a lot of anti-tank here. Let's go on to his name is Russian Factor. He's actually not playing as the Russians. He actually hasn't even unlocked the battalion, but he's unlocked the captain and the lieutenant. Anyway, pretty soon I'm going to grab the mortar. I just got my men in here to kind of see what they had over here. I'm basically trying to direct my mortar, who's now Vet 2. Very accurate mortar the Germans are, especially when they get later on. They also have the counter barrage, which basically lets them see any kind of enemy. Whenever the enemy fires, they'll fire right back. The enemy artillery, so like another mortar or something. And he's also reinforcing off his ambulance right here, so it's going to be a little hard for me to destroy. You know, I don't just want to throw away a Panzer IV, but I have taken the munitions, which is good because I need all the munitions I can get. Around this point, I should be building up some bunkers right here to have a forward reinforcement point. I do have all my MGs facing this, so I'm expecting an attack on that victory point here. And this has got to be very difficult to deal with because they have a fighting position right there. Very good placement from the Russian Factor, Russian X Factor here. And also, Lipton has placed this kind of in the middle of our lines here to kind of protect against a possible flank from him. By, you know, possible flank against him, not from him. And I have 13 kills on my mortar right now. And we have one of my favorite half-track, if not my favorite half-track in the game, the mortar half-track of the Germans. They do have the Incendiary mortar barrage. And it is just fun to have this thing just fall, and especially when they're blobbed up like this. That is when the Incendiary barrage, the Incendiary mortar barrage will do a lot of damage. So I'm going to hop in with the MG here. And look at this, he's bringing his ambulance up there. Okay, and then I see that, I'm like, okay, that's number one. So I am, you know, they're going to run up here and get shot, and then take a look at this Incendiary round that's going to go down. It is burning these guys alive. Just wiping out all these crews here. And he didn't actually move any of his crews here, and he has a captain here. The problem is, I have a lot of support troops. I don't have enough infantry to really help push my advantage here, but you can see I have my bunker and everything here. Anyway, I pulled back. But you can guess where the next barrage is going to be. So he's had to abandon 2 of his AT guns. You can see all the dead troops here. Meanwhile, he's being starved of munitions, which is really important. It is really a tough fight over here for Lipton. You know, the SUs are doing a lot of damage, and I'm getting ready to tell Lipton, hey, we just need this victory point and the southern victory point, and I can lock this down again. I can take this no problem now that my Grenadiers are all healed up here. And this guy actually got hit by an AT, so I had to pull him back. But 8 kills so far, very good. And he's almost Vet 1, which will give him the counter barrage. So I have more Grenadiers coming out. I've decided not to make Panzer Grenadiers just yet. Or at all during the match. Anyway, I'm bombarding this. I would love to see this house just collapse. And a great way to actually destroy buildings is to use Incendiary barrage on them. Because it'll actually start burning the house away. So these guys are actually taking a lot of damage. And he's actually going to almost lose his rear echelon squad there. So, you know, if they want to camp like this, that's okay. So I've damaged a lot of his forces. I mean, he really has. He's trying to use his officers and his ATs. He even brought his AT all the way. Actually, that's a new AT because I destroyed 2 ATs down here. And I'm going to push up a little bit with my infantry that's now ready. I have a lot of support troops, like I was saying. And I'm even going to build, possibly right here, a munitions. Build a munitions cache to basically help me with this. Can't exactly remember if I do that. I do know this is right here. And anyway, my MG has popped up here. I'm trying to be careful with my Panzer IV. I'm trying to support my troops at the same time. But I gotta be very careful. There are 2 AT guns here. Anyway, Incendiary barrage going down again. I actually lost my Panzer IV there. He activated at the last second. Actually, I just got it a little too far forward and I lost it. So I'm in a lot of trouble. But you can see that those guys got, there you go, another MG basically destroyed here. And Lipton has some armor here. The armor is not going to do any good along this area here. But there's a lot of anti-tank around here. Not too much anti-infantry, and you can see that house, that building is on fire here. You can see the remnants of a Maxim. We're still bombarding. We want this building to basically fall. I'm going to switch my gun around. You can see I'm doing it right now to focus on this area. Actually, I'm going to evacuate out of the building because I'm going to try to come around here. They're throwing grenades at us. So Lipton just shifted down over here to help me out. Tons of AT still. So that's really bad. I'm just going to save up for a Tiger. I mean, I'm close enough at this point. I'm floating a lot of munitions. In fact, I should really... I wasn't really paying attention to my manpower. I should really grab some more Grenadiers to help my infantry corps, because I only have 2 Grenadiers in these Pioneer squad here, in this Pioneer squad. They've also grabbed a Wolverine tank destroyer. It's one of G-Spock's favorite light armor vehicles. And it's just a bloody infantry fight in this side so far. And there's a lot of artillery too between these SUs. You can see the Panzer IV actually can get an upgraded skirt, or that's how the OKW Panzer IVs come. And I've taken this victory point back, and they're trying to skirmish a little bit with me. I still have an MG kind of covering over here just in case they try to take this victory point, but I've left the munitions and this point neutralized. So the next point to attack, once I deal with this minor anti-tank force, is going to be the fuel. Because right now we're winning our victory points by a decent amount, but I got to be really careful with this guy with the anti-tank around here. But you can see he's kind of blobbed up. So you know, it's not the... That was actually a pretty bad Incendiary barrage. It's doing some damage to some of these units here, but it could have, if it had fallen a little closer to the enemy, it would have actually wiped out both those squads. He's just going to heal up and reinforce. And then look what we have. We have the Sherman Bulldozer, a great tank against entrenched positions like my own, like in the house here. And I just see that he left 2 anti-tank guns here. I expected he would recrew one of them. After I capture this, I'm just going to grab one of them and say, hey, I'll take an AT gun. Why not? I'm not going to make one of my own. You can just see this. Look at this. Just full squad wipe there. These guys seem way too powerful for 75 fuel. And he can't move his Panzer IV because the AT will kill him there. Anyway, I'm trying to suppress these guys. This is attack, basically. And what's going to happen in the middle of his attack? An Incendiary barrage. So he's getting suppressed. He's getting shot up by Grenadiers at long range. And the Incendiary barrage is going to go down here in a second. So that will burn apart. You know, that'll burn alive a lot of his troops here. And then I get the Tiger. Now, I wish I could say I really cared about my MG in this house, but I don't. It's doing a good job of suppressing the enemy, and I'm trying to wipe out squads. But I see that it's just reinforcing. So you can see I've actually stolen the enemy AT, which I've set up here, which should have really moved up a little bit. I'm trying to dodge the Sherman here. I managed to Panzerfaust the ambulance. We're such nice Germans, aren't we? Panzerfaust in the ambulance. And that's how I got my guys killed. So I just lost my vet to squad there. These guys actually, I was clicking around, them actually hopped in the bunker, so they weren't reinforcing. So I'm going to keep healing these guys up. I definitely need more infantry, and I'm starting to realize that. I do have a Panzer, a Tiger. I'm ready to do damage. I'm just going to start sniping at his tanks here. I'm actually getting the rear armor of his Wolverine. I'm kind of daring him to move up. And I see that he might actually flank around. I'm definitely getting rear armor shots here, but I gotta be very careful because I don't want to lose another squad. Anyway, and this is not what the Sherman crew wants to see. A Tiger, 1 shot, 1 kill. The 88mm gun. And he recrewed that AT. So he basically has a couple troops and 2 Wolverines to try to stop me here. And I'm like, Tiger, what are you doing putting your back to the enemy? So I'm going to pull back here and try to heal everybody up. Grab some more grenadiers. You can see I'm making some finally. I'm floating way too much manpower here. Should make it even more than that. Because if I can kill this AT, I'll be fine. And look at that. They just wiped out some of my infantry here. Now this is a Tiger. It is going to be a hard guy to kill. It's just that really thick armor. Anyway, I just wiped out that AT crew. Trying to kill that captain. The problem is these are very expensive to use these. I'm gonna have to Panzerfaust this guy right here. It's reinforcing all his troops. If I can get a shot off, that is. Actually, I could just use that with the Tiger too. So that's gone. I gotta pull back because there's a lot of enemy armor around here. I'm popping smoke. I really confused the Wolverine there. And my AT is actually around here, so I'm moving my AT up. And his Wolverine is not going to run over anything. But the critical thing is his ambulance is gone. And look at this. They're starting to launch attacks against my fortress here. I'm repairing my tank here. But yeah, this is when like the Soviets like give up on this side and they're trying to push against me over here. I have a Tiger and I have an AT. Now it's not my AT, but it's an American AT that's going to be used, you know, against the Soviets. And I don't know what it is with these guys turning their side armor against us, but they're going to lose a lot of troops that way. I know I'm moving out my Tiger just to start shooting at range against these troops here. Anyway, I figured even my half-dead Tiger could probably take on these light SUs, so they don't have great armor against a heavy tank like a Tiger here. But that's when the Soviets try to, you know, that shift really costs them. Their rear armor is getting hit right here by the Panzer IV. And that Soviet armored force is basically done. You can see that one's going to retreat. And this is when D-Train, who was the red player, quit. And that is going to be the game for you guys. We were able to decisively hold these guys off. Here are the stats. My guy only got 32 kills on me. I think what really won the day over for me was being able to kind of fortify along the southern area here, just make it very hard for him to get the VPs. He blobbed up, and I used that to my advantage. You can see this had 17 kills, and this mortar had 38 kills against him and the Soviets. They had entrenched positions, and I was able to use that. I was also able to use enemy equipment, including this AT gun right here, to my own advantage. That did take out a tank, so that was pretty good. And then, you know, Lipton did a good job of kind of fighting for them on this victory point, but the critical point in the battle came when the Soviets shifted all their armor down to me and got destroyed. Especially with Lipton also flanking with the Panzer IV. They lost all their armor, and that's when they decided to call it quits. Hope you guys enjoyed this replay. I'll see you in the next episode. Cod4Man221 signing off.